You're back. So you must have enjoyed episode 1. Don't let me talk too much, don't let me keep you. Welcome to On Air with FPI. You briefly touched on it just there. Are we allowed to talk about Punisher Barracuda?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's not really much to say. I drew 4 of the 5 issues. The whole thing was written. But, I mean, once COVID... I mean, I don't know where it stands with Marvel now, but, like, I know not every project that they had is coming back. So I honestly just don't know the stories with that. I mean... Marvel generally prints things that they make, and I did 4 issues. I mean, I think 3 of them were colored. So like the first issue I think was printed and was in a warehouse somewhere.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, you know, I'm not Marvel, and you know they're going to be very careful about when and how these things come out because so much money is involved. So yeah, I mean, I'd like it to come out, but at the same time, I have one issue that isn't drawn yet. So if they start bringing it out, I'll have to like take a break and finish it. But I mean, I would like to. I was really, really happy with that series. Ed he wrote such a great story, and it felt like a Max book again, you know, even though it wasn't. Yeah, I think I drew the hell out of it. So yeah, I was really enjoying it. But I don't know what's going on with it. So
Okay. I asked the Glasgow branch of Forbidden Planet if they could brainstorm some questions that they would like to put towards you here. So I have one from Derek. Derek would like to pick your brains on how much freedom you had when you did the House and Powers second print covers, third print, I believe.
Oh, right. Yeah, pretty much total freedom. I remember. I mean, they specifically wanted me to take a moment from the book and make that a cover.
Of course.
And I'm sure you're aware. Pepe Larraz is an amazing artist, so it's not really hard to take like a panel he drew and that is amazing and go, I'm going to make a cover out of this. But it was, I think the first issue. What was the very first one I did? I think they had some suggestions of maybe 3 different moments from the book, and I picked the Magneto one because I had been to Israel the previous year, so I took some really good reference of Jerusalem. I'm like, I want to use this reference. Also, like, do a cool, iconic Magneto shot. That was such a really great line in the book too. So that one just kind of worked, and I think because the 2 books were coming out, my idea was I'd like to kind of pair them together. So even though they're 2 separate books, the covers from a design point of view are similar. So that's why Xavier is in the middle of that cover on the Powers of X one. And then with the Magneto one, it was the same thing. I wanted to get Moira, and I think maybe they asked for the moment with Destiny for House. I think it was House of X2, and then I paired that with Magneto. I drew a reflection in of Moira in Destiny's face, and then I paired that with Magneto. So I mean, they were basically totally cool to let me just pick the moments. Once we got going, pick the moments and work in that kind of connection. That's deadly. Marvel have always, like, for like 99% of the time, have given me fairly free reign, you know, within reason. The only thing that kills me is that, like, they were for the 3rd printing, and I was hoping the whole series would get to do a 3rd printing, so I would have done one for all of them. But I think it was the first 4 issues got 3rd printing, so I never got to do covers for the last 2 issues of both series. Which what are you gonna do? But yeah, a hell of a lot of freedom, and they let me color them too. Like, so, like, yeah, it was great.
Fantastic. Peter asks, do you listen to music while you create?
I do. I listen to kind of a lot of podcasts and stuff to kind of keep me focused, because sometimes I have a hard time. I've spent ages trying to pick the music I want to listen to. A lot of instrumental stuff. My go-to would be, I believe, your homegrown Mogwai of Glasgow.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Yeah, huge. I'm a huge Mogwai fan, and
Yeah.
it's just moody instrumental. Like, it gets heavy, gets light. It just puts me in a very like Zen zone.
Yeah,
to
good
just
place.
right, both the drawing wise and writing wise, actually some of the best. So yeah, if I still had CDs, I would have burnt those things down to dust from listening to them so much. But yeah, like a lot of kind of I mean, I like all types of stuff, but when I'm working, it would be more things without lyrics in them. Lyrics are pretty distracting, but a lot of, probably a mix between some folk stuff, some Deftonesy type stuff, Radiohead, that's it. Just lets my brain just kind of click into like make things, and
Absolutely.
I roll.
Fantastic. Cameron asks, now I don't think he's asking for your favourite, but Cameron would like to know who's the most interesting character you've got to work on.
Interesting character. I mean, I know I'd say Moon Knight, but like there really isn't much character we really did in that. It was like it's such a great series. I loved it so much, but like as it comes to plot and character, it's like wafer thin. It's just like mad, construction and stuff. But interesting character. Oh man, that's a good question. I'm coming up empty on that one. I mean,
Like what you've done, Cameron.
yeah. Because I'm trying to think like other characters I've written are the ones my first instinct was the ones I've drawn.
Yeah.
And Deadpool, Wolverine, like those are all interesting characters. You know what? I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's a really good question. I'll think on that for a while.
Okay. And Darren asks, what's your favourite comic book story? I think he means, like your personal favourite.
Oh, of my own?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. It's my favourite story. It probably is the issue. I mean, everyone loves it, which is great. But like, I loved doing it too. Was the issue 5 of Moon Knight, where he's in the building and he has to fight his way up it's kind of like the raid issue, people call it. But from a story perspective, there's not much to it, but just from a storytelling point of view and the execution of that storytelling, I just remember being on a real, just things were just clicking in a way. It was just so satisfying. It wasn't as much like, drawing a beautiful story. It was just like, it just felt so pure from a storytelling point of view. I loved working on that one.
Perfect. I have a second one from Peter. Peter asks, was there a story arc that got you into comics?
I mean, it was probably the Phalanx Covenant, the X-Men Phalanx Covenant.
Yeah.
It's when I just started reading American comics, when I got my hands on. My first issue of X-Men was issue 35, and Liam Sharp drew this Cyclops and Phoenix story, which was a great one done in one, which is great to be my first comic, and it was amazing. But then the next issue was like right in the middle of this thing called the Phalanx Covenant, and had Banshee and Jubilee and Sabretooth, and I just remember thinking like, what is happening? And you used to get these kind of editor notes, which like as seen in X Factor or whatever else, and I think that kind of event story sucked me into, like, I was just so aware there was a much wider world to X-Men than I was even aware of, even though I was a big fan of the cartoon and whatnot. And yeah, like it's not like, I wouldn't say it's the best story ever made or anything. Like it's I'm not even sure what I think of it if I read it now, but I just remember it was so exciting and interesting, and just the potential of what it was or where it was. It just maybe, I think that really did suck me in a big way.
Fantastic. I have two now from Gary and Andrew. Now, they like to take the questions outside of comics. So we'll start with Andrew. Andrew would like to know what would be your perfect mastermind subject.
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's say probably Star Trek Next Generation.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I think there's not. I don't know a hell of a lot. I don't know much, but I know a lot about the Next Generation, so I think I'd be good.
Okay.
Or DS9. That's a backup.
Yeah, that's a good backup. I was always more into Voyager when I was growing up. It wasn't until I was an adult where I was like, wow, Star Trek's actually amazing. You know?
Voyager, I remember having an argument with my friend on the school bus when I said Voyager was better. He's like, "You're an idiot. Deep Space Nine is way better." I remember I liked Voyager more because it felt more TNG.
Yeah,
you know, it felt more like that. But it was clear to me that it wasn't as good a show as Deep Space Nine. But I've come back. I watched some Voyager recently, and I think it starts out better than any other show, Star Trek show. Like its strongest episodes at the beginning are better than, because other seasons, it's like the first 2 seasons aren't great.
Yeah.
But it wobbles in. It dips up and down in quality as it goes, like from very good to very bad. So it's not the same as, say, the other 2 shows of that era that just like got better. Yeah, I think it gets a hard rap sometimes, but deservedly so in some ways. But I think it's better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gary has a proper thinker on your hands here. He says, Cher can famously turn back time. Does this make her a superhero or a villain? And if so, is she Marvel or DC?
Could you say the beginning of that again?
Okay. So this one's from Gary. Gary asks, Cher could famously turn back time. Does this...
Sorry, I didn't hear that first bit properly. Okay, go on, right.
Does this make her a hero or a villain? And is she DC or Marvel?
Whose question was this again? Gary, was
this? This is Gary, yeah.
Gary, you're a gobshite. I think Cher would be a villain. In Time Before Time, anyway. She's so extravagant and weird looking. Like, you know, I could see her as some kind of you know, syndicate-esque, you know, extroverted, weird kind of captain of some kind. Is she Marvel or DC? I think she'd be a Marvel hero but a DC villain.
No, perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe. I think I answered that one pretty well, actually.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, cracking answer.
Take that, Gary, you prick.
So, I'm going to try and throw you off. I'm going to give you a character or 2 characters, a setting and a scenario. So, your characters, in one corner, we have a land shark. Now, the land shark, he stands at 6'5". He weighs well over 500 pounds, and his ability is to breathe both on land and in water, superhuman strength, but has weak vision with a high sense of smell. His opponent,
a complicated character.
Yeah. His opponent is the sea tigress. Standing at a height of just 5'4", weighing around 200 pounds, she can also breathe on land and water, superhuman speed, incredible eyesight, and incredible hearing, can walk upright or on all fours. The setting is the laboratory that they were created in, that's right in the middle of the ocean. Are they going to attack each other, or are the inmates going to try and run the asylum?
I would think the tigress would kill the shark.
Oh, just like that, just straight away.
I think so. That was my first instinct, is that she would attack and kill it.
Okay.
Not straight away. It would be a battle.
Oh, wow. Right.
And the lab itself there would be like test tubes falling and breaking and fires and stuff. It would be an epic battle, and she would probably use his carcass to escape. I mean, she can travel. She can be in water for sure.
Yeah.
he'd probably utilize his dead body to kind of as a raft of some kind to
I
help
love
her
it.
get to them.
That's a fantastic answer. Do you know, when I wrote this question, I spent hours, like, and I mean hours doing these questions, and this was easily the longest one. I brought it into work the next day and I was like, Andrew, do you think this question will stump him? And he went, Paul, that's the Pokemon movie.
Oh, is it?
Apparently, Pokemon has a lab in the middle of the ocean, and there's characters fighting each other.
Sometimes two different geniuses come up with two different ideas. You know what happens, or two of the same idea. It happens. Sorry if all that time was spent and I just answered it like that.
I know you were just like, no, she's killing the shark.
Yeah, I think so.
That's.
Hello Forbidden Planet friends, welcome back to a very special unboxing. Today we're going to be unboxing some of our favourite Funko Pop soda figures. I've pulled a fair few of them off the shelves, but we are going to unbox two of my favourites that I think that you folks would really enjoy. Okay, right.
Okay, so that was your first scenario. There's another scenario that will come up towards the end. So right now, I'm just going to sway around the corner a little bit and just straight up ask you if you've ever seen a ghost.
No,
Oh.
I used to go out with somebody who was very like, do you think this is a thing? I'm like, no. Or do you think this is a thing? I'm like, no. I am very boringly like, I don't, you know, or because I remember as she was saying, like, but you think, you know, sci-fi and like stories and all these things will happen. I'm like, yeah, but they're based in science, you know,
Yeah.
like they're fictional. They're fictional, but they're, you know, the idea is based on a science thing. A ghost, nah. You know, ghosts or monsters, like no. astrology, all that stuff. No, I
Okay.
think it's all nonsense.
So take Bigfoot question out. What about aliens? Have you ever seen a UFO?
I have not. No, I do think it's completely possible. I mean, if we exist, you know, it's completely possible that there's something else can exist. But I don't think they'll be coming down in humanoid form and
Okay.
you know, partying with us or anything like that. You know?
So
I saw somebody on Twitter the other day going like, you know, if we found life in outer space, we'd probably eat it. I remember thinking, or they'd eat us.
oh yeah, somebody's definitely going to eat the other one. Like,
Yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
well, I mean, yeah, it's not like we like our own planet, you know.
Yeah.
So if a UFO came down, crashed right into your back garden, and whatever was inside was completely fine, wasn't hurt, but came directly up to your door, what would be the first thing you would say to it?
Fancy a pint?
Okay, yeah, okay.
I think two people sit down when you could go to a pub, you know, 2 pints, figure everything out. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think so. Like
You've probably
I mean,
just saved the universe.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. There's probably pubs all over the universe. Now I don't know if you'd understand me, but I mean, I'd probably need a drink after seeing a spaceship land on my back.
True, yeah. If you had to have just one thing, so it's a lifetime supply of just one thing, what would it be?
Lifetime supply of one thing. It's a tough one.
Yeah, Gary helped with this question again, so.
Oh, of course, Gary, my one true nemesis. Probably natural confectionery jellies. I don't know if you have them in the UK. They're basically they're kind of like wine gum type sweets.
All right, okay.
You know, they're great. They come in different forms. I'd probably try get the variations of them, but yeah, if there was lifetime supply, I'd probably go with that.
Okay, perfect. Not in a morbid sense. It could just literally mean technology is going to die tomorrow.
Mhm.
What would be your last text? Now, anything could be happening the next day, but it just means this is the last ever text you can send.
I don't have my phone on me. Oh, it's like what I would send now.
Yeah, it's what you would send.
I mean, I'd probably text my mum
Okay.
and sister in a group. We have a group thing. I'd probably say, shit, man, I'd probably say I love you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Gary didn't come up with this one, did he?
No, at least you get actually, I think Gary did come up with this one. It was either Gary or Andrew. But at least you gave
out to break me.
At least you gave an honest answer, though.
Probably because I can't come up with something funny or original right now. You asked me an actual question, and I just thought about the scenario, and that's probably what I would do.
Do you like conspiracy?
I feel like I need to text them now.
No,
tell them I love them,
just in case. Do you like conspiracy theories?
No, I mean I like. I know we're in a weird place now where conspiracy theories are all over the place, but sometimes they're true, in the rare cases. And I think like from a pure, I think they're interesting, but like I don't get into them. Like I don't find them that entertaining because I know how just ideas kind of just spread through the culture in such a weird way, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't say I get too much entertainment out of them. But like if you're a fan of like something like X-Files, like these things are around. Like I don't think there's. I think we're inherently as humans, we're just compelled to make them and come up with our own things, But I'm wobbling around your question there, man. Sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry.
They're grand. I don't subscribe to them. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
But I do. I do find them interesting.
So, have you ever heard one then that you've went, I hope that's true?
Hope it's true. Probably. I don't think so. I think I've been very surprised in the last few years where ones that have turned out to be true. You're like, huh. Like, I think we're in such an interesting place where we think we know everything, and you hear a mad conspiracy theory, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you hear, like, actually, that is the case. You're like, whoa. I think that's all good because it kind of, you know, it stops you from just kind of accepting every single thing you hear, which is a good thing, you know. I can't think of any, like say Bigfoot or whatever. Like none of those things. I'm like, I wish they were true. I unless it was something hilarious, you know, unless it was something about a friend of mine, and it would be something I could really rip on him for years.
Of course.
But I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory, really. That's just somebody talking shite.
Well, I mean, we could, if it was multiple people, you know, we could maybe class it as a conspiracy
That's true.
theory.
If I start sharing it as well as my other friend, then maybe so. But
and then
but
this video.
yeah, but yeah, no, I can't think of anything I actively wish would be true. I assume you have.
Look, see, I do read into conspiracy theories, but like the ones that I read into, I really hope aren't true. You know, of course, there's funny ones like Avril Lavigne has been replaced by a clone. You know, that would be pretty funny if that was true. But then at the same time,
it would.
But then you're
but
like,
then what happened to the original one?
Yes, exactly.
You know, I'd be worried about. Yeah, I'm pro clone, but like not if it means the other one dying. The original dying.
Like, I mean,
because that's something we'd all need to worry about.
Yes, if they said to me like we could clone you and it will take your consciousness and it will just be you and it will be younger, then maybe I'd debate it.
Yeah.
But
well,
no.
I'd like a clone just to be so I could do all the things I wanted to do. Like I can't physically draw all the stuff that I wanted to write. So it'd be nice if I had some kind of art monkey version of me. That could do that stuff, and I could just like watch movies.
Oh, imagine how annoying it would be though if your clone couldn't do any of that. If your clone was just some sort of like,
I'd murder him straight up.
I know.
What are you good for if you can't do that? Because I tell you, not good for anything else. I guarantee you that.
So I don't know. Again, the same as you. There's too many conspiracy theories that would be bloody terrifying if they were true. Yeah. So let's just keep them as theories. If your life, like you like movies, you like TV, so if your life was visual, so if a television show or a movie, and what would your genre be, and who would you have playing you?
It would probably be a dark comedy.
Oh, great, yeah.
And it would probably be Julian Barat.
Okay, yeah.
I get that sometimes, and he's great too. So, and also that would suit his kind of, you know, what he does.
Yeah.
So I think like a dark comedy, like a serious dark comedy. You know, where I'm trying to think of an example. Actually, maybe one he did that Flowers. He was in, like, you know, it's not like a comedy in the traditional sense. Like it's quite kind of grim. I kind of like that stuff that's very like serious but also ridiculously funny. So that'd probably be it.
Yeah, and he did that. I don't know. Is it Ghostwatch? No, it's not Ghostwatch. That Simon Pegg, Nick Frost TV show, the Amazon Prime original. He did that. Yeah. Typical. I've brought something up and I don't even know the name of it. It's Simon Pegg and Nick Frost made a TV show. Amazon bought it, and he's the main villain. So. Yeah, he's fantastic in it.
No, yeah, he is great. Like I'm only saying because people have said it to me. I'm like, I don't know. Then I look at photos. I'm like, okay. Especially now that I have hair again. Like, yeah, I can see it for sure.
Yeah. So, have you seen Lord of the Flies?
The original.
Yeah, or even read.
Yeah,
or even read it.
Yeah, we did in school. So yeah.
Perfect. So, if you were in that situation, who would you be with? Who would take up leadership? And who are you picking off first? Now, this could be a fictional character, non-fictional character, anything that's in your head.
I'll be honest, it's a little too broad as regards any character or whatnot, so I can't really answer that. But like to think I'd like take up leadership, but I probably would just go with somebody who's more There's some people who are more attuned to that, and I don't
Okay.
think I am.
Okay.
I'd probably go along with somebody who's a good leader type, and also not want to be the person that gets, you know, beaten or eaten or anything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
you know, yeah, I think everyone likes to think they're the leader, but I'd probably follow a strong. You know, if it was a dictatorship, I would totally go along with the whoever it is. You know, Stalin, or whoever. Like, yeah, I'm the person who follows for sure.
Have you seen Lost?
Yes.
So if you were on that plane, so you've crashed. It's season 1. You're in Lost. Now you can stick with the same group of people, or you can invite your own people. Yada yada yada. Are you going to change the outcome, having seen it, or are you just going to try and let it play out in front of you?
Oh, interesting. I'd let it play out.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
Fantastic. You imagine how sad it would be seeing Charlie, you know, with Penny's boat right in front of your eyes.
Yeah. It would it'd be tough, all right, but like, I don't know. I think it would be a fool's errand to try and change things.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially because they're in where the show goes. Like, it wouldn't work. You would
That's
something
fair.
bad. Would
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't work, and you probably only end up making things worse.
I mean, yeah. I get that. I don't think there's anything I'd like to change. You know, because I'm one of few people I think that like the ending.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
yeah.
I think
Great.
I remember of somebody, might have been Andy Diggle, saying online at the time, if you're into Lost because of all the mysteries and you know, the questions, you're probably not going to like the ending. But if you're into it for the characters, you probably will be.
Yeah.
And I'm more I mean, you know, very was into the former, but I mean, for me, it's always about the characters. And I haven't watched in a long time now, but yeah, I was satisfied. Like,
yeah,
I think where that show went to places no show had done before, and
absolutely,
you know, it definitely had a wobble, I think, in the middle, but like, just the flash forwards and the alternate reality. So one thing I like saying about Lost is, like, I think it's everyone's favorite sci-fi show without anybody realizing it was a sci-fi show. Like, I had uncles and aunts who watched it, who would never watch, say, Star Trek, you know, because it's in space, but they'd watch Lost because it's on an island.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely.
But there's more sci-fi bonker concepts in that show, and it's probably one of the few mainstream shows to really go hard sci-fi on an audience and not lose it, which I think is amazing.
Yeah. Moving on to our last couple. Our last couple is just light-hearted
Also,
fun.
I'd probably talk to some of the people who do die off, especially the good-looking girls. Probably just chat to them a little bit first. You know, Maggie Grace and a lot of beautiful people in that show. So, you know, if I was in the show, I'd be the forgettable extra, you know, who comes in for an episode. Like, who's that guy? You know, but yeah, hang around some beautiful people. For a while,
I was going to say, but you're just there. You know, you're always in the background trying to put the charm on. You know, it's perfect.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm so like not interesting. Nobody noticed. As far as you know, I'm in the show. You just never saw me because nobody cares.
That's one thing as well. There was so many characters in that you never actually seen, like, what happened to them. You know, they just kind of disappeared.
I think they kind of addressed it. There was a couple of episodes where, like, somebody who you'd never seen before came, and that was also kind of the thing. Is like, do you know who this is? Do you trust them? Because it did such a good show of flipping expectations. People came on that show and then they end up being the hugest villain ever, and it was an actor you wouldn't have recognized, so you just think that they're like a guy, and then ends up being like Ben. You know, that's why I like that show. It just flips your expectations all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, this isn't a Lost podcast for now. Anyway,
I mean, I'd do one. I'd absolutely do one. Do you have a favorite flavor of ice cream?
I do. Vanilla.
Okay, that's all right.
I am very boring. Just like I just like vanilla. I don't like. It's fine. Like, I like maybe something with a bit of caramel sometimes, or a little bit of strawberry maybe. But too many ice creams just go mental with the different flavors, and I'm not. If it's more than 2 words, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Okay.
But if I just went for anytime I have the option, I just go vanilla every time.
Okay, that's a good answer. To be fair, I think mine's is technically vanilla. My favourite is vanilla with the raspberry ripple.
No. You got the raspberry ripple. You're going places. You know,
All right. Okay.
no, you're experimental. I respect that.
Do you have a go-to TV show, movie, or album that is just that's it? That's your peak for you.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about ice cream. It's so hot.
No, I've ruined it for myself now. Like,
Son of a bitch. No, I want ice cream so bad. I don't have any. Sorry, what was the question? It was.
Do you know I'm watching this trickle of sweat just run straight down?
I'm feeling
the question was movie, TV, or sound. So like an album. It's your go-to. It's your peak entertainment for yourself. What's your favourite?
It's a hard one. TV. It's like The Wire, Deadwood, okay. 6 Feet Under. Because I, especially like 6 Feet Under for many years, I would throw on that DVD and just like kind of replay it while I'm working, and it just got me in a very creative space. So that's always kind of really stuck with me. Film, I think Road to Perdition, or again as a basic answer, but Shawshank Redemption. Those films just kind of, it's very like sad and poignant films. I'm a sucker for. Like Arrival was a recent one too. If it's a film that gets me upset, then I'll love it forever. Atonement actually is one of my favorite films, and that film like destroyed me.
My Dog Skip. I still can't watch it to this day.
Ooh,
oh,
I've never seen it. I know it's about, but I've never seen it. I don't think I want to.
No, it's one of those ones where you're like, no, I'll be fine. I don't cry at films like this. And then you realise that your heart's actually a lot bigger than you thought it was.
Yeah. I was watching something recently, actually. I was watching Black Widow and I got a bit upset at the end. I'm like, what's happening to me? Actually, I'd throw another one. It would be actually Inception. I know it gets a lot of people love or hate it or whatever, but I just love such a sci-fi concept, delivered to a mainstream audience. I just think sci-fi stuff is a hard time as far as like mainstream motion pictures go. Sci-fi has a lot of, it has a hard time. And I just like, a sci-fi idea, injected into the mainstream.
Yeah.
And so well executed too, like just from a filmmaking point of view, just, as somebody who makes stuff, I just have huge admiration for like, the idea and execution of said idea. That's very inspiring. But and music, I do have go-tos. I mean, I mentioned Mogwai. I don't know which album. I think maybe Rock Action was the first one I ever listened to, and it just puts me the very same place mentally as the very first time I heard it. I probably Radiohead. Which one? I'm blanking. The Kid A probably. Gillian Welch. I don't know, man. I could be all day at this stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of it comes down to where my head is at that moment,
Yeah.
But I find like I don't really go to new stuff as much as stuff that I like that takes me back to a place where I'm feeling something and I want to make something. There's definitely stuff that's coming out that does that, but it's I went through this period I was buying a lot of albums that I liked when I was like a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
buying all the old REM albums and whatnot, and it was amazing like how strong that sense of nostalgia hits you.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe I'm relying on it to some degree, but like I think it just those things put you in places, and I just remember being so creative at a certain time, and I'm always able to tap into that. So I think this question has gotten way too navel gazing.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Now, Declan, you've been a real sport. It's been an absolute pleasure. So just before we go, I would love to let the listeners or the watchers know what to expect from yourself for the remainder of this year. They can obviously pick your stuff up from your local Forbidden Planets. But, in your own words, what can we expect?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me promote my own stuff. But Well, as you mentioned, I'm co-writing Time Before Time, which is ongoing, which is great. Lots of nutty stuff coming up. But also, I'm actually going to be drawing issue 6 coming up in October. I'm drawing at the moment, actually, and that's going to be a self-contained story. So you don't need to have read anything before this issue. But it's out the same month as the first volume collection. So no, I would encourage you to be reading it anyway, because I think it's a really good book. I was enjoying writing it so much. I was like, I could just like take this bit and just kind of draw this element of it, and that's kind of been really fun about doing something creator-owned like this. I have a Marvel project that has not been announced, I can't talk about, and I don't know when it's coming out. So when you see it, you see it. But I think it's pretty big, and it's very cool. It's very interesting. It's unlike anything I've ever done before. I'll put it that way. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm really interested to see how it goes down whenever it comes out. But that's probably it for the year. Everything else I have is probably out the following year. So, but yeah, that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it's plenty. Time Before Time is a must. You have to be reading it. You know, if you're watching.
I'm biased, of course, but I think it's a really good book.
Yeah. If you've watched to this point, like, this is not like a sponsorship. We're not told to say this, but it is genuinely a good book. It's a really good book. But yeah, thank you so much. I've really appreciated this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No worries, man.
Take care of yourself. Thank you.
Cheers, man.